If you want to get your drone footage cinematic like this, then this video is for you. I'm going to show you what is the best cinematic settings on the DJI Mini 4 Pro drone, and as well that video will perfectly work for DJI Mini 3 Pro drone as well, because they're almost identical drones. Then let's grab the controller and let's go to the settings. One of the most important settings is your drone movement for cinematic video. The drone have to move really smooth, nice and smooth. You have to move to the, for example, you're moving to the left or to the right. Drone have to move very smooth, and as well when you're going up and down, and then especially when you are moving gimbal up or down, have to move very smooth way. And just to help yourself with this, there's a couple of the settings where you can change it to get more smooth movement in the drone. And the settings where we have to change is the control settings on the drone. Then click on that three dots on the top, go to the control, and on the control you're gonna find again an expo tuning, these settings, and click on them. And now you're gonna see the settings for cinema, normal, and sport mode. For recording the video, I'm using a cine in normal mode. I almost never using the sport mode. The sport mode I'm usually using just to fly to the place where I want to start recording, or just to go back. But yeah, usually I'm using the cine and normal. Normal mode I'm only using when I'm flying a little bit higher, and it's like a bigger distance from a place where I'm recording. Like say we're gonna go to the highest 120 meters limit, and then you're gonna want to record something. Then you want to record in normal mode, because on the cine mode it's gonna be slightly too slow. But most of the time I'm recording in the cine mode, and that's the first settings where we're going to change. They're going to be on the cine mode, and we're going to start from max horizontal speed. And the max horizontal speed as default is set to 6 meters per second, and I think for me that's a little bit too high, and I'm usually changing this to around 5 or 4, just a slightly lower, between 5 and 4. But as well, it's depending on the situation. You may like to fly a little bit faster, but always on the cine mode I'm using slightly smaller speed. And max horizontal speed is just to adjust how fast drone is flying forward and backward. When you change the settings to lowers, then you're gonna see how drone is flying slowly. Then you can increase this to the full, and then you can see how fast it's flying the drone. And the second settings what we're gonna change is the max ascent speed. It means how fast the drone is flying up. If you're flying up, then what is the speed of max speed of flying hard up? And to be honest, I'm leaving on as the default, or 2 meters per second. That's quite okay. But if you're gonna load this one down fully, you're gonna see it's flying very slow. And if you're gonna increase this to 3 meters, that's gonna fly very fast up. But I'm leaving this as a default on 2. The next settings is max descent speed. The max descent speed is how drone is flying down fast, and it's 1.5 meters per second. I think that is the as the default is slightly lower, and I think that's good as well. I'm not gonna change this one. I'm not changing the settings how fast it's flying up or down. We're leaving this one, and I'm just gonna show you quickly how you can see this one. What is the difference in between the 1 meters per second? As you can see, it's flying very slow down, and now we can see it is flying quite faster down. Okay, and we're leaving this as default 1.5 meters per second. The next settings is max angular velocity, and is how fast the drone is turning left and right. Then if you are, as a default is 30 degree per second, and I'm usually using 20. I'm going to the fully down, because I don't want my drone to be moving too fast left and right, because that's how you want to get this smooth movement. If you're moving too fast the drone, you're gonna see this very clearly on the video. It's moving too fast, and I wanted my drone to moving very slowly left and right when I'm recording the video, especially when I'm flying around something. I want to move my drone to be moved very smooth in there and keep the center of the recording in the point, and then slightly moving left or right. But let's see what is different in this settings if they are 20 degree per seconds, and then we're gonna go to the highest one, 120 degree on the second. As you can see how fast drone is turning around. Okay, I'm leaving this on 20 on the cine mode. And the next setting what we're going to change is the yaw smoothness. The yaw smoothness is how drone fast is going to stop when you release the stick for left and right turning. Because before we change the how fast it's moving on this top settings on this max angular velocity. The second one, yaw smoothness, is related to this, but it's how fast drone is going to stop. If you go to 0, the drone is going to stop straight. I'm going to show you. We're moving left and we stop, the drone is stopped. As you can see, if we go fully up, then if you start turning the drone, as you can see, is still turning around when you release the stick button. That means is how quickly it stopped when you release the button, the stick button for turning left or right. And as the default is 15, I change this to 20. I want my drone to be move a little bit longer for getting a little bit more cinematic movements. And the brake sensitivity. The brake sensitivity is how it's very similar to yaw smoothness. This is how when you release the button for like flying forward, then how quickly it's gonna stop the drone. If it's gonna stop straight or it's gonna still moving a little bit forward with the drone and then smoothly it's gonna stop. Then the brake sensitivity is quite high, it's on 100, but obviously you don't want to put on the 0, because if you put on the 0, if you it's not even 0, it's a 10, and you fly, as you can see, the drone now is almost not stopping, it's very slowly. If you go 150, then the drone, it is stopping straight away. And you want to get a little bit down this one. As the default is 100, I'm using settings of 80. I think 80 is quite good, because if you are really stopping the drone and then you're still recording, sometimes you're finding after you're starting the video, then it's missing of that couple of seconds and drone is stopping too quickly. You wish you have a little bit like the 2-3 seconds of that little bit more smooth movement on that video, and that's how it's gonna help you. Even you can go a little bit even more on like a 60 or 80. I'm using 60 as well, but usually I'm on settings of 80. As the default is 100, and I'm using on 80. The next settings is expo settings, and these settings will help you to control your sticks. If you have problem with moving the sticks, we say you want to move, because obviously if you move the sticks slightly, we say to the left, the drone is moving very smoothly. Then you move fully to the left, then drone is starting turning with his full speed of whatever was set up for left. And you can change how on this expo how the sticks are reacting to your movement. You can change the sticks, like if you push the sticks fully to the left, the drone for quite a long time is just gonna be moving smoothly, and then it's gonna increase slowly to the higher speed. That can prevent from you from unexpected movement. If you don't want to, you want to get small movement by, and then you are just quickly press too hardly, and that's going to prevent you from that movement. Then if you have any problem with the movement on the sticks, like the controlling of the sticks, because they're really small and you may have a problem with this, then that's the settings where you should play with them. I recommend it just to get a drone up in the air and try to see how they're working. And you can see up and down, yaw and pitch roll settings, you can change them. I'm not really changing this one, I'm leaving this as they are. I quite find they are okay for me, but many people, they have a lot of problems with moving your hands with the controller with the sticks, and that's what the settings you should think to change it. Then it's good to play with them, check how they're working exactly. Okay, the last settings what we want to change is the gimbal movement. It's a max control speed of the tilt gimbal and the tilt smoothness. The speed control is say on how many degrees per second is moving up or down. Then if you're increasing this one, then the gimbal is moving very highly up and down quickly. And if you decrease this one to 1, there is very small, slowly moving. As the default is 10, I'm keeping this on 5 for my setting. Then 5, That's why I'm going to show you how this is exactly looking when you put on 1. As you can see, gimbal is moving slowly up and down. And if you go to 100, as you can see, the gimbal is moving crazy up and down. That's definitely not cinematic setting. And I keep close to 5. You can get a little bit higher if you want, but I keep this one on 5. Then we got next one, we got the tilt smoothness. As higher number, the tilt smoothness is gonna be higher. It means how quickly the gimbal is gonna stop, or how long it's still gonna move when you're gonna release the movement of the gimbal up and down. With, for example, you moving up and you release the button for the gimbal moving, and if the numbers are higher, for example, you go 30, then the gimbal is still moving slowly up, and slowly, gently is slowing down. I keep the settings on 20. I slightly increase them at the smoothness. I want my gimbal to be moved a little bit more smooth, and I'm just going to show you how this is look like. If you go 0, as you can see that the gimbal is straight stopping. If you go 30, the gimbal is still moving when you release the button for moving the gimbal. Then I keep my settings on 20. Now we're going to go to the normal mode, and I'm going to use very similar settings on the normal mode. If you go to the normal mode, max horizontal speed I'm leaving on 12. Then this first settings I'm leaving there as they are, because you want to move a little bit quicker. Then this max angular velocity, we want to get this one down as well. And as the folder 40, and I'm going to 20 as well. Your smoothness we're going to change to 30. And the brake sensitivity we're going to leave on 80. And on the bottom, on that tilt smoothness as well, I'm changing the setting. The gimbal movement I'm changing to this very similar to 5, or you can leave on like a 8, in between 8 and 5. That's what I'm using usually on the normal mode. And the tilt smoothness as well, I'm changing these settings as well, and I'm gonna leave on 20. And that's what the settings I'm using on the normal mode. On the sport mode, I'm not changing anything. I'm leaving as it is. I don't really bother about the sport mode much, because I'm not really recording much video on the sport mode. Only sometimes when I got cruise control on sport mode I'm recording, but I'm not moving the gimbal at all and any other settings, just flying straight forward with a higher speed. But this is only as well if it's a higher altitude of flying. That's my settings for settings on the drone for movement. But as well, there's a couple of settings where you have to change for recording. And you can change the settings here. And here, straight on the bottom, we're gonna go from auto to pro mode, and we're gonna record it in the pro mode. We don't want to record it in the normal mode if you want to record it as cinematic videos. And then you have to change the resolutions on the left, click it, and then white balance, switch it off, auto, and use manual white balance. Yeah, I would say 560 is around like a daytime. But I'm going to show you the graph here, what you should use on what condition of the weather. But as well, it's just double check it. But don't use the auto white balance, because if the drone is moving, we say from left and right, and you got light on the right side and you're moving to the left, the white balance is going to change from warm to cold, and you're going to see this in the video. You don't want to have something like that happen. Then never use the auto white balance. Use always manual white balance. Doesn't matter wherever you're recording, how you're recording, always white balance on manual. Then 4K, I always keep a 4K. I'm not changing to anything different as a 4K, and I'm recording my video on 30 FPS per second. That's how I'm using, that's my settings, and I recommend to you to keep in similar 30-25 FPS. Or if you want a slow motion, obviously then the slow motion is recording on like 100 FPS, but I'm usually using 30 FPS. And coding format H.265 for better quality, and I'm recording my settings on the D-Log-M. That's on the flat color profile. That's how I'm recording my video. And as well, it's a H.265 only coding for D-Log-M. That's the flat color profile, and that you're gonna have to later color grade that footage. Then if you want to find out how to color grade it for free on the DaVinci Resolve, then you can watch my tutorial. The link is gonna be up there. And I made it for how to color grade D-Log-M footage from DJI mini drones. And the second settings is going to be for ISO and the shutter speed. Then ISO, manual, you want it close to 100 for the best quality of the video, and you want to keep on in between 100 maybe to 400. This is the highest where you want to use. You don't want to go anything different in between 100 and 400, but keep closest as 100. Shutter speed on the manual. If you're recording, the shutter speed have to be recording speed settings, and if you're recording on 30 fps per second, then your shutter speed 1/60, and that could overexposing your image if you are outside, because you changing the shutter speed and the ISO to your recording settings. So for example, if you're recording 25 frame per second, then you should choose 150. Then how to choose exactly the shutter speed and ISO and use the ND filters as well. I made a tutorial how to use the ND filters on the drone, and for cinematic video you will have to use ND filters on the drones for cinematic video. Then watch my tutorial, the link is going to be up there as well, how to use the ND filters. Then 30 fps 1/60, and you want to have this compensation close to 0 or plus 0.3. That's why I'm usually recording on a little bit slightly overexposed, or or 0, close to 0. And as you can see, there's a little bit dark situation here. That's why it's showing minus 0.7. Then we can increase the ISO a little bit to get higher, and then you go more correctly that settings. Let me just change to the normal settings as well. I can show you on normal settings. Then exactly the same. On the normal settings, you can use exactly everything the same settings. Don't go over 400. The 400 is the highest where you want to go. Keep close to 100, and the same 1/60 on settings for your recording. If you go recording on a 30 fps per second, then double your frame per rate, the shutter speed. Okay, and there is a couple of more settings where you like to change it when you're recording in the cinema for cinematic video. Then let's go to the 3 dots, and we go on the safety. The flight assist obstacle avoidance you want to have on bypass, and bypassing options I put on nifty. That is going to be a little bit closer to the object, but it's as well there's a risk of you can get collision, but I want to get this a little bit closer. Then be aware of this one. And here all the settings are stay as the same. I'm not changing anything here. But then we're going to go to the control. On the control, make sure you got this subject scanning, this settings, switch it off. You don't want to have the subject scanning, because if you're going to have a lot of people there, that's going to scan every each person, and you're going to have a lot of people like scanning, and it's going to put like a plus icon next to the people. You don't want to have this happen. Then gain and export tuning, that's why we change the settings for the drone. A little bit down here. On the button customizations, as well changing the setting for that C2 button. If you go to that C2 button, I'm choosing from a control, cruise control. Then if you're flying your drone straight forward, then if you click your C2 buttons on the controller, the drone is going to switch to the cruise control mode. That's what I'm using as well for recording for more cinematic video. On the camera, then I'm using D-Log M, but it's switched on to normal because we switched it on to normal before, but D-Log M is my default settings what I'm using for recording. Exposure warning, that's what I'm switching on. Then you're gonna have this zebra showing when it's overexposed image. Then you will know that you got some overexposed image. Maybe you don't want to record in this directions or use the anti-filters, and if the anti-filters didn't help because it's too much, then you have to think about how to recording, where to recording. Then overexposure warning is quite nice things, because on overexposed places is putting that zebra, and you know where it's overexposed. That's as well for cinematic video is something to helping you. And I always choose this grid and this grid, and that's showing me that grid on the middle, and then I know where's the middle of the point. And if I have any point of interest, I can just focus in that middle and I can just fly around that place. And then go back on the white balance. Obviously, as I say already, manual, you have to use the manual, and you can change a little bit the sharpness on this. If you go to the style, you can go to a little bit sharpness. You can go sharpness to -2, because sometimes this is a little bit too sharp and you want to lower that sharpness. Sometimes it's good to lower the sharpness, and you can always get on the post-production, you can add some sharpness, but it's very difficult to lowering the sharpness. But then it's good to know about this one, and it's good to keep a -2 or even -1, slightly a little bit lower sharpness. I'm usually keeping around -1 on the sharpness, and then on the post-production I'm a little bit sharpening the image. And here, I think we all have this done. It's only one thing, so what I miss here is in the histogram. I always using the histogram here, and that things on the left. And the histogram is showing you overexposed image or underexposed image. Then if it's more moving to the left, the image is too dark, or to the right is too bright. Then you want to keep this in the middle, just to be not overexposed image as well. This is something what is helping you together with that overexposed warnings, with that zebra as well. That histogram is something what I'm using a lot most of the time, and I'm looking on that. And as well, I'm looking on that on the bottom. I want to get this this compensation close to 0 when I'm using when I'm recording. Then you can obviously using the ND filters, using the correct settings for ISO, shutter speed, and I'm always trying to get this close to 0 or plus 0.3. That's my usual settings. And obviously DLOGM, that's my settings, and then plus 0.3, that's the settings where I'm using. And the ISO, I'm always keep 100, 200, in some only small situation 400, but yeah, don't go over 400. That's the highest where you can use on the ISO, because after that you're gonna put too much noise to your video. And then there's still a way of this. There's as well, I make the tutorial how to remove the noise from a video. Then you can use the noise remover in DaVinci Resolve. Then you can watch my tutorial how to remove the noise if you got too much noise as well in a lower light. Then the link is going to pop down up there. But we want to keep close to 100 and 200 to don't have that noise. That's the settings what I'm using for cinematic video. I hope that's going to help you as well understand what settings are doing. Then you can play with them a little bit. But that's the settings so I'm using for the cinematic video. And if you want to get them, use them in the post-production. If you're recording the DLOGM, then as already mentioned, watch my tutorials how to color grade them, and as well a couple of different tutorials how to work on the videos. And that's everything for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe my channel, and we see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.